Welcome to Spiritual Healing from the Torah. We're going to start with a little exercise from Parashat Vaera. And in this new week's Parashat Vaera, it is about the name of Yud He Vav He, that Hashem tells Moshe, I revealed myself to you in Yud Ke Vav Ke, but not to the fathers. So what is so special about the Yud He Vav He name? They also called the Tetragrammaton, the four-lettered name of Hashem's name. What is special about it is that through this name we have the ability to connect really deeply to Hashem in a greater way than with any other name. This is the name of complete compassion, and this is also the name that can make us cleave to Hashem. So when in spiritual healing, when we begin a healing session, we always begin by opening the channels. And part of opening the channels is reciting Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid. I have placed Hashem before me always. This is a pasuk in Tehillim, to be exact. This is a pasuk in Tehillim 16:8. And the name Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid, the name Hashem, is the Yud and the He and the Vav and the He. We don't pronounce it. We don't even pronounce it like in prayer, Adonai. We don't even pronounce it that way in spiritual healing, out of great reverence for this holy, holy name. We just say Hashem, the name. But when we say it, the way I originally learned from my spiritual healing teacher, Hannah Luke, is to visualize these four letters, the Yud and the He and the Vav and the He. Later, though, my teacher decided to remove it from her spiritual healing courses because she believed, number one, that a woman who has a period should not visualize the letters of Hashem's name. We're not pronouncing them, just visualizing them. And two, she believes that someone who's not Torah observant should not do so. That it could be, it could be not only not do anything good, it could actually be dangerous if we don't have the right vessels to hold this name of Hashem. But for me, I decided to retain this part of opening the channels. And when I teach it, I let people know, these are the things to be careful. Rabbi Itamar Swartz teaches us that the Shiviti, placing the name of Hashem, the Yud Ke Vav Ke, before me always, is like a spiritual alarm clock with in action during every aspect of our lives, when we cook, when we clean, when we teach, when we hang out with friends. Everything in life must relate to placing Hashem before me. So the more we connect ourselves with Shiviti, the more we can learn to experience Hashem's presence before us perpetually. So what I decided to do, I have great support for doing so in terms of visualizing the letters of Hashem's name in the Shiviti, by no less authoritative than Rabbi Moshe Isserles in the Shulchan Aruch itself. And he writes, I placed Hashem before me always. This is a great concept in the Torah, and it's a paramount attribute for the tzaddikim who walk in the way of God. The way in which a person sits, moves around, and carries out his daily activities while he's alone is not the same as how he would engage in these activities while standing before the great king. Similarly, neither his conversation nor attitude when he's among his friends and family is like when he's in the presence of royalty. How much more so when we put it in our heart that the mighty King, the Holy One, blessed be his name, whose glory fills the entire world, stands before us and sees our deeds. Immediately we will be filled with awe and surrender. Also, when we're in private and when lying on our bed, we should know before whom we are lying. Then immediately when we wake up, we'll arise with enthusiasm to serve our Creator. And that's in the Shulchan Aruch, Aruch Chaim, chapter 1, Halacha 1. That's actually the very beginning of the Shulchan Aruch. And so very, very interesting is the Mishnah Brura, the Rabbi Yisrael Meir Kagan, commentary on the Shulchan Aruch. He adds that we must constantly envision in our mind how we're standing before Hashem and how the Holy One's glory fills the entire world. And then he brings from the Arizal that when we envision the Yud and the He and the Vav and the He, we should envision it with the vowels like in Yir'ah. So it's Yi, and then, I don't want to pronounce it, but then the Vav with the Ah sound. And this, he says, will greatly benefit our fear of heaven. So in EmunaHealing, we also we recite Shiviti twice. Once by visualizing the names of the letters of Hashem's name, and the second time we imagine the letters of Hashem's name that in the three words that means was, will, and was, is, and will be, which have the same letters as the four letters of Hashem's name, Haya, Hoveh, Yihiyeh. So when I say Shiviti Hashem, I visualize Haya, Hoveh, Yihiyeh in front of my eyes. Well, I'm just saying Hashem, and it's so really, really interesting that this is exactly what it says in it's exactly what it says in I found it in the Shulchan Aruch or Chaim, but the yukes like that. It says when articulating the name Yud and He and Vav and He, one should have in mind the meaning of the name as it is pronounced, that he is the Lord over all, and one should have in mind the meaning of the name that he was, is, and will be. Haya, Hoveh, Yihiyeh. And that's exactly what I do. Okay, so this week's Parashat Vaera, it opens with Hashem spoke to Moshe and said to him, I am Hashem, I appeared to Abraham, to Yitzchak, to Yaakov in the name of Shaddai. But with my name, Yud and He and Vav and He, I did not become known or familiar to them. So that was actually an admonishment to Moshe, because Moshe had complained when Pharaoh made the conditions for the Jewish people harder, and they had to also get the straw and produce the same amount of bricks in the same time. And Moshe complained to Hashem. That's the end of Parashat Shemot. And he said, Lama hariota? Why did you do evil to these people? And why did you send me? So Hashem responds by saying, look, I didn't even reveal my holy name, which also means Yud and He and Vav He, Ne'eman l'shalem sachar, that I am faithful to fulfill my promise. I never fulfilled promises to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. I only promised, but I never fulfilled the promise of giving them the land in their lifetime. But to you, I am fulfilling my promise of the Exodus. And, they didn't complain, and you still complain. So we have to understand how very fortunate we are that this name is known to us, that Hashem gave us this name as a portal for us to connect with him and to become cleaving to him. But we do also have to know that it's not enough that meditating on the name itself will not generate the experience of holiness we seek unless our mind and body can receive it. And what makes the vessels for receive it? That's keeping the mitzvot properly with true devotion and and kavanah, intent. That has the awesome power of cleansing the body, the mind, and the soul. Mitzvah observance is the vessel that creates a harmonious mind, which can probably delve into the unconscious and the unconscious act of surrendering of personal will before the will of the divine. And that's what prepares us for cleaving to God. Without such preparation, meditating on Hashem's holy name not only won't achieve the spiritual experience of cleaving to God, but it may even be dangerous, just like my spiritual healing teacher taught. And now we're going to go to the actual meditation part. So I hope you're ready. Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think your video is frozen.
Oh no. Yeah, I see it's frozen. Well, I'm not gonna change it now. I'm gonna change it for the next part. Okay, it happened also before. I don't know, something with the internet. I'm continuing. Okay, so EmunaHealing exercise for cleaving to Hashem through His name, Yud and He and Vav and He. Settle down on your chair or cushion and pay attention to your breath. Inhale and exhale slowly and mindfully. On your in-breath, visualize the two first letters of the Tetragrammaton, the Yud and the He. On your out-breath, visualize the last two letters of the Tetragrammaton, the Vav and the He. The Vav and the He. Repeat this breathing and visualizations 5 times. Now add the vowels to your visualization according to instructions of the Mishnah Berurah. Inhale while visualizing Yi, exhale while visualizing Vav. Repeat this breathing 5 times. Breathing and visualization. Yi, Vav. Yi, allow yourself to surrender into this holy name, realizing that we have no claim to existence and cannot demand that God gives it to us. Nevertheless, Hashem gives us existence as an act of charity. When Hashem created the world, it states, God said 10 times. The first letter of the Tetragrammaton, the Yud, with its numerical value of 10, corresponds to these 10 sayings of creation. Let yourself experience your recreation through the letter Yud of Hashem's name, the 10th letter of the alphabet, which represents the 10 sayings of creation. Breathe into the Yud that grants you existence. Now imagine how the He of the name of Hashem is Hashem's hand, which holds the existence He wishes to give us. And then the Vav is His arm reaching out to us to give us existence. Finally, the last He of the name is our hand, which accepts this existence. Allow yourself to become the final He that receives existence from Hashem. Contemplate the Yud, which is the smallest letter of the Hebrew alphabet, almost like a small dot. Imagine this Yud as the initial point of creation, representing the 10 sayings that brought creation into existence out of nothingness. Now contemplate on the first He of the name. This divine letter creates the vessels of existence to hold the abstract power of creation. Envision God's hand holding the power of creation in order to give it to us. The opening at the top of the He is the channel from God, while the opening at the bottom is the channel to us below. Imagine the He both as a 5-fingered hand based on its numerical value and as a channel for the forces of creation. Contemplate the Vav. Now envision the Vav as God's power reaching out to us, wanting to give. The most important letter is the final He. This is our hand through which we receive what God is ready to give to us. This represents our ability to receive from God. The connection between the Vav and the He is extremely important. This is the connection between the giver and the receiver. Unless this connection is made, we cannot receive anything from God. Visualize the letters He and Vav standing independently. Then envision how they approach one another, becoming increasingly more and more connected in various ways. Now envision all the 4 letters of Hashem's name in one sequence. First, the Yud that brings everything into existence, followed by the He of Hashem's hand holding this existence for you. Then the Vav, his arm reaching out to us to give us existence. And then finally, the last He as your hand receives existence from God. Allow yourself to feel recreated through Hashem's holy name. Breathe into how the power of the letters of Hashem's name revitalizes and illuminates you. Then open your eyes and return to mundane reality with a new energy. And this is based on Rabbi Ari Kaplan, Jewish Meditation, a practical guide.